Hello teacher, my name is Emily Rodríguez and I'm going to present the unit number 1, Make a Small Talk. To start, we have a small talk conversation model. Let's check out the most important phrases and pause the video if you want to read the whole conversation. Allow me to introduce myself. Nice to meet you. No need to be so formal. Please call me, and do you mind if I ask you a question? The first topic of this unit is tag question. When do we use tag question? We use them to confirm information you already think is true or to encourage someone to make a small talk with you. For example, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? We can use tag questions for affirmative and negative statements. When the statement is affirmative, the tag is negative. For example, she speaks English, doesn't she? But when the statement is negative, the tag is affirmative. For example, we are not going to eat here, are we? But be careful about the use of I. Use are and I for negative tag questions after I am. I am on time, aren't I? But for negative statements, use am I. I'm not late, am I? Now is your turn to practice. Try to complete these exercises. Remember to pause the video. Now, let's check answers together. Our second topic is past perfect. We use it to describe an action that occurred before a specific time in the past and to clarify which action occurred first. Let's check this timeline. The meeting ended at 11 and we arrived at 12. So the meeting had ended before we arrived. In this case, the meeting ended first, so that's why we use past perfect form. We use the auxiliary had and the verb in past participle. We can also realize about past perfect because of the time markers, like by, already, and yet. For example, by 4 o'clock, the tour had begun. Now it's your turn. Put an X on the right answer and remember to pause the video. Now let's check answers together. Now we have some expressions about busy schedule. Pause the video and repeat after me. Pretty, so, really, incredibly, unbelievably, and use these expressions on this conversation model. To finish with this unit, we have some vocabulary words about small talk. Remember to pause the video in order to read the words' definitions better. Etiquette, cultural literacy, table manners, punctuality, impolite, offensive, customary, and taboo.
Well, I'm going to talk about the unit 2 that is about health matters. Well, here we have a lot of vocabulary. For example, I feel dizzy, I feel nauseous, I feel weak, I feel short of breath. Also, I've been vomiting, I've been coughing, I've been sneezing, I've been wheezing. Also, I have pain in my chest, I have pain in my hip, I have pain in my ribs, and I have pain in my stomach. Also, we have a vocabulary for a dentist. For example, red or swollen gums, a broad teeth, a loose tooth, and fillings. Also, a checkup or an examination, a shock or an injection, an EKG or an electrocardiogram, an X-ray, and a blood test. Also, we have a painkiller, cold tablets, a nasal spray, an eye drops, antihistamine, a cough medicine, an antibiotic, an antacid, an ointment, and vitamins. Also, I'm going to talk about two different topics in grammar. The first one is drawing conclusion with mass. The structure, we have to use mass plus a base form of a verb. For example, you look awful. You must be in a lot of pain. Then we have three more examples. If your daughter feels nauseous, She must not want to eat anything. The second, the doctor said you are in perfect health. You must feel really good. I have a headache. I must want to take a nap. Well, the other topic about grammar is will be able to, that is modals may and might. For example, in the first one we have will, and in the negative form is won't. Be able to plus base form. For example, the doctor will be able to see you tomorrow. That it means the doctor can see you tomorrow. And in the second sentence, she won't be able to come to work this week. It means she can come to work this week. Also, we have may and might. Obviously, we have the negative form that it is may not or might not, plus base form. For example, the dentist may arrive at the office a little late this morning. Also, you may not need to come in right away. Something important here is that you can use be able to with may and might for possibility, or with must for drawing conclusion, as I mentioned before. For example, the doctor may be able to see you today.
Hello everyone, this is a tutorial about Unit 3, which is called Getting Things Done, and the first topic that comes up, it's related to what is a procrastinator. So a procrastinator is someone who always leaves activities till the end, and to understand this topic better, the book offers the following conversation model among 3 people, 1 manager and 2 customers. So this conversation expresses situations related with procrastination. The lady has procrastinated an activity, meanwhile the other man seems to be an organized person. And in addition, this conversation expresses and highlights important expressions, phrases such as, it's really urgent, you've got a lot on your plate today, I know this is the last minute, no sweat, you're a lifesaver, I owe you one and I won't keep you any longer. Then the unit number 3 also introduces the following grammatical point, which is called the causative. There are some expressions that use the verb have and get to, but there's a difference. Have is used to express that someone was forced or ordered to do something. And on the other hand, get to, it's used to express that you convinced or you persuaded someone to do an activity. In the left side, there are some examples, and on the other side, there are the meanings of these sentences. You should notice that get is always in the definitive form of the verb, so to correct, to pay. Meanwhile, have it's just with the verb on its base form without to, and these words in purple are the objects, or it could be also the object pronouns. Then the other grammatical point, it's about the positive causative. So it's just another way to express the causative, and you just use has or have, then the object in the middle or the object pronoun, and finally the verb in past participle. Then the book shows important vocabulary, and the first vocabulary is about services such as dry clean a suit, repair shoes, frame a picture, deliver a package, lengthen or shorten a skirt, print a sign, and copy a report. And another vocabulary that is important is for plan a meeting, for plan an event, or for planning a conference. So there are some vocabulary such as send out the announcement, set up the room, check the sound system, a podium, introduce a speaker, a microphone, and so on. Here's a tip that I give to you. You should recycle this vocabulary and expressions that are really important. And now it's your turn to practice. You can pause the video whenever you want. And then at the end, there are the answers that I'm going to show you right now. So you should please pause the video. So here's for the second exercise. the second activity, and if you want to pause it, please do it. And here are the answers of the first grammatical point. It is get, and the verb in its infinitive form. And finally, the positive causative with have. Have my sweaters dry cleaned. And that's it. Keep looking, Unit 4. Thank you.
Well, now we are going to present the Unit 4, that is reading for pleasure. Well, here we have a fiction vocabulary that contains novel, mysteries, thrillers, romance, science fiction, and short stories. Also, there are non-fiction vocabulary, that is biographies, autobiographies, travel, memoir, and self-help. Also, here we have 4 goals to all of this unit, that is recommend a book, as about an article, describe your reading habits, and discuss online readings.
On unit number 4, we've also seen about noun clauses, and noun clauses are basically clauses that play the role of a noun. You can notice in this case, because a noun clause can be introduced by that. So this is a noun clause. It starts with that, then the subject, verb, and complement. In addition, if a noun clause functions as a direct object, that may be omitted. So as you can see here, I didn't know he wrote this book, but this is still the noun clause. Here's a list of verbs that noun clauses often follow. And there are also some ways to answer considering these noun clauses, such as I think so, I believe so, I guess so, I hope so. And that's it.
In unit number 4, we have some vocabulary words about ways to describe a book. We can describe a book in a good way. For example, it is a page-turner, it is a cliffhanger, it is a bestseller, and it is a fast read. But we can also describe them in a bad way. For example, it is hard to follow, and it is trash. Also, we can find some vocabulary words about some ways to enjoy reading. For example, curl up with a book, read aloud to someone, listen to audiobooks, do puzzles, read articles online, skim through a newspaper, and read ebooks or electronic books.
I am going to talk about noun clauses, embedded questions. A question can be embedded in a noun clause. We have some examples. The first one is that magazine interesting? Tell me if that magazine is interesting. I am going to talk about unit number 5. The name of this unit is natural disasters. Historic disasters. We are exposed to a lot of natural disasters, for example, a storm, epidemic, tornado, also hurricanes. In the grammar part, we have indirect speech with imperatives. It is to report what someone said without quoting the exact words. We don't use quotation marks. For example, he told her, go and lie down. And in direct speech, we have, he told her to go and lie down. As you can notice, we use to, and we don't have quotation marks and a comma. Indirect speech is a kind of noun clause. It is the direct object of reporting verbs such as said, tell, or ask. Vocabulary severe, weather, and other natural disasters. This is the name of this vocabulary. We have tornado, hurricane, a flood, and landslide, and a drought. In the second part of the grammar, we have indirect speech, say and tell, and tense changes. We use tell when you mention the listener, and we use said when we don't mention it. For example, Maggie told her parents to stay home, and Maggie said to stay at home. Told has the listener, the listeners in this case, and said doesn't have a listener. Now we are going to talk about tense changes. Simple present to past tense, present continuous to past continuous, past tense to past perfect tense, past perfect tense to past perfect tense, and will to would. This is so easy, and we are going to solve a short exercise. She told me that the hotel had called her room one morning and had told her that a big storm was in the way. We use told because there is the listener. Also, we use hot call because this is a things change. We use told in this part because there is the listener, and we use was because there is change in things. Finally, we have a short vocabulary about adjectives of severity. We have mild, moderate, severe, deadly, and catastrophic. Thank you for your attention.